Across the education sector, teachers are seeking greater balance to persist in their role and are leaving the profession at increasing rates due to burnout. We have learned that having insufficient time to plan for lessons and collaborate with peers, as well as having a large number of scholars who are behind grade level, are two major contributors to this burnout. This national challenge that our teachers face for sustainability and balance is directly connected to our scholars' outcomes. Hi, I'm Sonja Grant, Vice President of Network Initiatives for Alliance College-Ready Public Schools. Alliance is the largest charter network in Los Angeles, serving 26 schools and nearly 13,000 scholars. In the fall of 2023, two of our middle schools, Alliance College-Ready Middle Academy 4 in the South LA Watts neighborhood, and Valera Middle Academy in the Sun Valley area, launched Reimagining the Alliance Educator, an initiative designed to help Alliance get ahead of industry trends by increasing well-used planning time and providing additional support to scholars who are behind grade level. At our Reimagining the Alliance Educator pilot schools, we have more than doubled planning time for our teachers, created new targeted intervention opportunities for scholars, and significantly expanded enrichment opportunities at each school. Now, we hope to pass along what we've learned to give you tools for your own school in hopes of spreading this groundbreaking work. Alliance College-Ready Public Schools brings to you Reimagining the Alliance Educator, the podcast. Practical discussions and advice on finding greater balance for teachers and better outcomes for scholars. I'm back with the staff at Valera Middle Academy to learn about the financial cost of the program and to get insight into what shifts Valera made to afford their new schedule. As a reminder for our listeners, Valera implemented a Reimagining the Alliance Educator schedule that we call our double daily planning block model, where all teachers have 2 hours of consecutive planning time daily, amounting to a total of 10 hours weekly. Through the pilot, the school has also added some really incredible electives programming for scholars and increased intervention time for scholars who are struggling the most.
We had to hire teachers specifically to teach intervention, remediation, and electives like our art and then soon to be robotics programs. So what that required was that we did have to invest additional money to hire additional teachers. By hiring those teachers, now we have teachers that are just focused on those electives.
Coming up on Reimagining the Alliance Educator, the podcast. JT and Eric, welcome back to the show. Can you give us a brief reminder of who you are and what your role is here?
I am JT, Jonathan Tianco, and I'm the proud founding principal and executive director for Alliance MIT, home of Valera Middle Academy and Marine High School.
My name is Eric Carlstone, and in the last 2 years, I've been in the role of principal here at Alliance Valera Middle Academy.
JT, the last time we spoke, we talked about the intentional shifts that you had to make in order to be able to expand teacher planning time and add enrichment and intervention programs for your scholars. Let's listen back.
It really did take a couple steps. So one was removing the elective responsibility from all of our core teachers. So while some of our teachers really enjoyed those classes, it added another layer of work that can make the job a little more taxing than most teaching positions. By removing that elective class that core teachers used to teach, that allowed them to have double planning time, and double planning time with less content to teach. So now they can dig in more into English and history or math, science, and not have to worry about teaching another elective course with different sets of students.
But of course, this costs money, right? So I'm curious, how did you find the financial resources to make those changes happen?
By providing that additional planning time for our teachers, what it required was hiring additional teachers. And so we hired additional electives and intervention remediation teachers. We leveraged our Prop 28 funding to be able to pay for our art teacher, and then leveraged general funds to be able to expand our intervention and other electives classes.
I just wanted to jump in and give a little context on Prop 28. Proposition 28 was approved by California voters in 2022. Essentially, it provides additional funding for arts and music education in public schools.
So we've added staff, but that just led to greater benefit for our kids. They got more access to these courses that we've been wanting to provide. And now through this pilot, we were able to make possible.
So can you give us a sense of how much this program costs, Valera? And would you say it's worthwhile?
Yeah, so I would say it costs us a little over $200K to make this happen in this first year. For us, we really did want to make this investment. And so while we had to make this investment in this first year, we knew that moving forward, this was going to be the right thing to do for our staff, for our scholars, for our families, and our community. And that's why the investment initially was really important to us. And we're so excited because of our increased enrollment that we're going to be able to continue and sustain this moving forward.
Eric, I'm curious. This work has required a huge investment of time and resources, including financial resources. What's your assessment of that?
I spent a lot of time just thinking about how education is done differently in different parts of the world. And I know that in the US, teachers on average have less time for preparing and more time in front of kids relative to a lot of other countries. I definitely think it's worth it. I also think in a real ideal change model process, you look at some best practices the year before from like September to maybe November. You start designing something late November and have something in pretty like final form in January, because if you are going to be doing one of these things, whether it's like at Mohan where they're teaching for 4 and they have prep for 6, something similar at our site, whatever is happening with the students teaching needs to be really well designed. You need to do your, for lack of a better word, due diligence. You need to do your utmost to find super highly qualified, passionate people. And doing that happens best when you're able to start in like February at the latest. And so coming up with that design and then really seeking the best people to make it happen, starting in like a February or at the latest March, will really allow to really fulfill the potential of those projects.
Do you have any other advice for principals who are considering taking a leap into this work?
I think also being extremely intentional about who are your veterans who do planning work in a way that you would want everybody else to, and be able to find the language to describe how it's used, and then be intentional about who you pair with who in order for them to have. Administrators can't be with teachers 24/7 or for the 5 days of the week for 2 hours. Like that would be hard for the teachers too, I think, but also just impossible with the way that life works in schools. So having a guide on the side besides the administrator that they can constantly ask questions for or be given a model of how to use that time can be extremely powerful. But that also means that whatever principal is setting that system up needs to have set that up going in. Because that was another situation that we had where some of our veteran teachers that were getting great results weren't necessarily able to partner with some of our newer teachers because they didn't have the same time off.
Is that something that you're able to solve for next school year?
Mm-hmm. Yes. We had to make certain changes because of some schedules anyway. So we're going from 4 6th grade cohorts to 6. And so some of those shifts will result in some of those veteran pairings being able to be accommodated.
Can you share a little bit more about how and why you're moving from 4 to 6 cohorts for 6th graders?
I think the biggest one is just when you set a great culture in 6th grade, that can extend through 7th and 8th. Our current situation is that we have 4 cohorts in 6th, and then we have around 70 students who join us in 7th. 7th is already kind of a tough year, and to then mix 70 kids with 120 kids, you're also getting less time to find learning gaps, because if you find them in 7th grade, well, now I only have 2 years to make significant growth there or inroads on what can create really positive change for that group of students. So yeah, I mean, having more students in 6th means that you don't have to backfill in other grade levels as the students move through, which means that hopefully 24, 25, we're going to have over 186 graders. We don't want to lose any of those 6th graders, but life tends to just kind of do that. And you tend to have people based on population dynamics, or they move here, they move there. But those same students 2 years afterwards will be 8th graders. And I'm hoping we don't have anybody new added to that group, because that will mean that we shepherded them through 3 years of school and are now able to really show what they can do with 3 years with us. So that'll be a great opportunity.
And JT, what advice would you give a principal who's maybe intrigued by and interested in, but still not sure whether to take the leap into redesigning their schedule and making the investment in a Reimagining the Alliance Educator schedule?
I would have to think about different principles, different contexts for schools. If you have the enrollment and a strong budget, strong reserves, this is a no-brainer. Providing more planning time, more support for our staff, providing additional opportunities, whether it's intervention, enrichment, electives for scholars, that's a no-brainer. For those schools that might be working on their enrollment, working on their budget, I would definitely look at what resources are out there. How can you seek out other funding to be able to make a pilot or make a program like this work? Because I really do feel like it really does add to the instructional program, as well as build a best place to work for your staff. When you have a staff that's really happy, so this is for both, if you have a budget or not, doing innovation like this really does create better programming for scholars, really helps to sustain your staff, as well as helps build the reputation for your school in your local context and in your communities. That at Alliance, we really do value innovation. We really do value doing things differently. In an era when we are coming back off of the pandemic, me personally, I did not want to come back to school as it was before. We just experienced 2+ years of schools looking different and education looking differently. And so for me, it's about, if we don't innovate now, if we can't innovate in 2024, we are never going to innovate. And so for me, it was about really re-looking at what schools can be, what services and supports can be provided for scholars and families. So again, to me, this is a no-brainer.
And we'll be back after a short break. This is Reimagining the Alliance Educator, the podcast.
All right, scholars, settle down, settle down. It's time for a pop quiz. True or false? Alliance College Ready Public Schools was founded in 2004 on the belief that all children, regardless of their income, ability, or background, are capable of learning and achieving at high levels. True! That's right. Alliance schools are community-driven and provide neighborhood families with the highest quality public education. Good job. Okay, question number 2. True or false? Alliance schools are expensive to attend. False! Correct. Alliance schools are open and always free to scholars. No entrance exams and no tuition. Next, question number 3. Alliance scholars have a graduation and college acceptance rate of over 95%. True! Right again. With small classes, our scholars get targeted attention and graduate from college at 3.5 times the national average compared to those from similar backgrounds. Nice job, everyone. A+. Oh, and for tonight's homework, tell your friends about Alliance College Ready Public Schools and help spread the word. Class dismissed. Wherever you live in Los Angeles, we've got you covered with 26 nationally ranked middle and high schools. Visit laalliance.org today and enroll your child in one of the best schools in the country.
Welcome back. Before we wrap up today's episode, I wanted to check back in with Cynthia Cassandra, a teacher who we've spoken to a couple of times this season.
My name is Cynthia Cassandra. I've been here about 8 years. I've always been math and integrated science. But I also have been an enrichment teacher.
It makes me so happy to hear that we're already beginning to achieve the ultimate vision for this work, which was really to create greater sustainability for teachers and also at the same time really drive scholar outcomes. And it's beautiful to hear that that's already beginning to happen in just 1 year.
Yes.
Now, thinking about all of the progress that we have made this year, what are you most looking forward to next year?
Next year, I'm looking forward to just bringing what we have done this year and expanding it even more so. We will have discovered that we will have new team members. And so it's great because now we have more time where we can integrate them into the existing team. And if there are any shortfalls or any areas of concern, that we have time to discuss those. And so I think it's a lot better because I remember when I first came, I felt a little separated. I knew my administrator had of course, had hired me and knew that I had the skill sets and everything and the competency, but I felt a little isolated at times. This helps now because I think it has built the morale of not only our team, but also the grade levels, because we have the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade levels. And so the teachers have been able to get closer to one another and become more of a true team that's working for the same outcome, for the same output, to get those students onto the high school level and on to college or wherever career that they choose to have.
Thank you so much for joining us on the show, Cynthia. Your experiences have truly helped us to bring this pilot to life for myself and for our listeners, and we are so appreciative that you took the time.
Hi, I'm Devin, and I'm an 8th grader at Alliance.
I am Samara, and I'm a 7th grader at Alliance.
Samara, what was 7th grade like for you?
My experience at the school was very good. I liked the school very much.
What do you like most about it?
I like the experiences I get to enjoy and the people I meet.
Devin, how was 8th grade?
It felt better than last year.
In what ways?
They gave us more freedom, but they also gave us more work, so that was not that good. I didn't like that work, but overall they made us feel happy. We got lots of field trips. We got grad night. I liked grad night. And I feel like they're preparing us for high school.
That's great. And I just know you're going to do great in high school. Up next on our Season 1 finale, I'll be back at Mohan High School to learn more about how their pilot is expanding planning time for teachers and giving scholars an opportunity to take college courses during the school day.
It's so hard for my students to imagine a life outside of high school, whether it's college or working, adulting. And so the opportunity to have professors, college professors come in, teach them in a space where they are comfortable and experience that and walk away with college credit, walk away feeling the confidence of, hey, I can do this. And I really didn't have to step out into the world as much. Hopefully when they graduate, they are now well prepared to step into that world because they already had a taste of it, an experience of it, and successfully.
That's next time on Reimagining the Alliance Educator, the podcast. If you're interested in learning more about Alliance College Ready Public Schools, in becoming an educator, or enrolling your child, visit laalliance.org. Or if you're already a part of the Alliance community and are interested in the Reimagining the Alliance Educator program, reach out to your school leader. Let them know you think this is a good idea and ask for more information on how your school can join. And don't forget to rate the show. It really helps spread the word, which will hopefully inspire more schools to try something new. Reimagining the Alliance Educator, the podcast, is produced by the Alliance College Ready Public Schools Home Office team, with producer and writer Monique Madrid, Jass Stewart, and myself, Sonja Grant. Sound and editing was done by Jacob Tummino and Travis Thompson. Alliance's CEO is Pablo Villavicencio. Special thanks once again to Principal Eric Carlstone, Executive Director Jonathan Tianco, Teacher Cynthia Cassandra, and Scholars Devin and Samara.
Brought to you by Alliance College Ready Public Schools.